Bankruptcy may be your best option for a failed business venture. Hi, I'm Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney. And just today, I ran into an old friend of mine who had started a new business probably about a year, maybe a little bit over a year ago. And business ultimately failed. And I ran into him about 2 or 3 months after he started the business, and he pretty much told me at that point, this isn't looking real good. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make this work, but I'm going to do my best. And so over the next every couple of months I'd run into him, and then actually I lost touch with him. I ran into him again today, and he told me that yes, lo and behold, the business failed. And I said, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to file bankruptcy? Are you going to just let it go? And he wasn't sure exactly what he wanted to do. He was very concerned about filing bankruptcy, but he also said to me, in order to make this work, I basically cashed out my 401k, my retirement plan. My wife cashed out her retirement plan, and we were able to pay our bills. We were able to pay the lease. I'm still not sure what we're going to do because we still owe money on the broken lease, and that's kind of where we left it. And it got me thinking that, I think that was a mistake on his part, because what he really should have done was, when he realized the business was not going to go, was not going to work, at that point he really should have thought about at least talking to a bankruptcy lawyer, because realize that bankruptcy can get you out of a lot of trouble. First of all, it can cancel a lease. So in his case, he had a lease for some business space in a strip center, and the lease the space was much too big for him, and he was paying probably maybe $3,000 a month. You file bankruptcy Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, you can cancel that. That's called an executory contract. He had personally guaranteed. He could have simply canceled it and walked away. He had other debts that he had incurred from the business. I think he'd run up some credit card debt and so forth. He could have eliminated that. So all these things he really could have eliminated and not had to worry about spending the money on. The third thing was, when he went into his 401k, his wife went into her 401k or IRA, basically they took money and used it to pay debt. That money is sheltered. In a bankruptcy, that money would be exempt property, meaning that no one would have any claim on it. So he could have filed bankruptcy and preserved 100% his and his wife's retirement money, 401k and IRA. But instead, he cashed it out. And by cashing it out, of course, it means he doesn't have it anymore. And this gentleman is probably in his late 30s, so he's got some time to make it back up. But there's really there's no way to compensate for the time value of money, and so that 20 years that he had been putting money away, that's basically gone, and it was really not necessary to do that. So I think he really possibly, and at this point actually, he's going to really very possibly have to file bankruptcy anyway. He told me that his landlord had basically not said anything to him, so he's not sure what's going to happen, but it's very possible that the landlord could sue him, and he could sue him anytime in the next several years. So basically, my friend could go into another business or be working, and he's actually working a job right now, and 3 years down from now, the landlord could sue him as a guarantor on that note, and he's going to have to deal with that then. So even if he's starting to recover from it, he's trying to put some money away, that could all be at risk. So bottom line is that if he had filed bankruptcy early on, when he realized the problem was insurmountable, he could have protected his retirement money. He could have gotten rid of a bunch of debt. And I think the other thing, which is probably not really a financial matter, but he went through a lot of stress. He and his wife went through a lot of stress. They were dealing with a business that was pretty obvious after a couple of months was not going to be successful. He fought like crazy to make it successful, to work on it anyway. It just wasn't meant to be. He said to me, the location was not a great location. The space was too big. It was just never going to work. Yet for about a year, he was dealing with the daily stress of having to deal with this space he couldn't afford and this business that wasn't working, and all that could have been eliminated with the bankruptcy. So I think a lot of times when people go into business, and as a business owner myself, I own my law firm, as an entrepreneur, you want your business to succeed. And the last thing you want to think about is, what do I do if it fails? However, there are some circumstances when a business simply is not going to work, and the sooner you realize that and move on, the better. And bankruptcy can be a great tool to do that. And again, what I would have told him if he had had this conversation situation with me a year ago, I would have said, let's sit down and look at what happens if you file, the downside, the upside. Maybe you have to wait because you've used your credit cards. We could have had a plan. He could have had a plan, whether me or anybody else. We could have had a plan, and it's very possible he could have been out of this situation a lot earlier, starting on the road to recovery, recovering his credit, and not having to worry about the stress of day-to-day operating of a business, not having to worry about the stress of, is he going to get sued at some point down the road? So if you've been in business, if you have a small business and it's not going well, instead of going to the extremes to try to save it, cashing out all your money, borrowing money from people, maxing out your credit cards, call me, call a bankruptcy lawyer. Let's sit down and talk about what the best options might be, what your options are. You may decide, I'm going to fight it out for a few more months. I'm going to try. But at least you know. And again, if I'd known what was going on with this guy, I would have said to him, don't cash out your 401k, don't cash out your IRA, don't run up your credit cards trying to save it. At that point, it's better to look at the bankruptcy options. So anyway, I thought this was something that really struck me after talking to this gentleman. And again, if you're in that situation, you're in a struggling business and you made a decision it's probably not going to be viable, pick up the phone, call me, call an attorney. Don't wait, and don't let circumstances take control over you. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. If you've not already done so, go to my website at www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com and download a copy of my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit. A lot of good information there. Again, our Facebook page, I put information there a good bit. And if I can be of assistance to you, please reach out to me directly. Our phone number at Ginsberg Law is 770-393-4985. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to download my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit right now. I've packed my survival kit with answers to the questions I've heard from clients for over 25 years here in the Atlanta area. Inside the survival kit, you'll find clear, easy to understand answers to critical topics about how to solve debt problems once and for all, including how do I protect my stuff, my house, car, and personal property if I file for bankruptcy? Are there any legitimate alternatives to bankruptcy? Will I ever get credit again, and if so, when? What mistakes must I avoid to get the most benefit out of bankruptcy? You can claim your copy right now by visiting my atlanta-bankruptcy.com website. And you are always welcome to use the email form on my website to ask me anything about debt and personal bankruptcy in Atlanta. www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com. And as always, I wish you the best.